Right, so now I'm going to fit wing covers because we want to protect the paintwork. You can just use decent clean cloth, but these are the official bits of kit if you like, because it's very easy to scratch your paintwork with belt buckles or what have you. So you don't want to do that. So with the bonnets protected, we're going to do the spark plugs, and this is my spark plug tool, which is in fact made up of the original Citroen parts, but it's been brazed together so it's one piece. Okay, so we now have to remove the bung in the rear scuttle here, which we need to do in order to have access to spark plug number 4. So then remove all of the HT leads, and if you want you could number them on all if they are in an odd position or they're all the same length. Right, we now have to remove the insulators, which we called sugar snaps. They're essentially a tube, but they just insulate the spark plug from the surrounding metal tube. Each of those are individual before we can get access to the spark plug itself. Oof. So, number 4 is the most awkward, and you feed the spark plug spanner down into the spark plug hole, and this is particularly awkward on this car because someone has fitted an extra heater hose and so made the job completely impossible. We're going to have to start again. Okay, on this car it's got an extra heating element on the right side, so most cars won't have this, but this is probably a Swedish modification, and I've had to move the pipe out of the way in order to get my spark plug tool to gain access to the rear spark plug. So here we are. The spark plug should undo with just a light pressure, it shouldn't be really tight. And then undo it. You should also be able to get access to all the spark plugs with the air cleaner still in place. There is enough clearance either side. Citroen have designed it such. And when you've unwound the spark plug completely, you should be able to use the Mark 1 digit to just reach in and pull the spark plug out with your finger as it attaches onto this extension which is on the spark plugs, which again is a Citroen speciality. Here we go. Number 2. If the plug slips on your fingers, if there's too much oil on the lead, it makes it a little bit more difficult. You can of course use needle nose pliers, but all 4 of these ones have come out rather easily. Okay, the next thing I'm going to note about these spark plugs is that 2 different types, which is not recommended. Okay, so you've now purchased your new spark plugs, and this is how they come, and you'll need to add the Citroen extension, which just screws onto the terminal at the end, and you need to nip it up, use pliers, just by hand is sufficient because you don't want that unscrewing. Then the next thing you'll do is we're checking the gap. So this is a correct, if you like, spark plug gap tool, which has all different sizes on it, and you just, with the correct size, which should be 0.6 or 24th thou, you make sure that the wire just fits in between the ends of the spark plug. If it's too large, which it normally will be when it's worn, you just need to tap down on the end of the electrode and gently do it a little bit at a time until the right gap is there. Otherwise, if it's too small, you're then going to have to open up the gap, which is a little bit of a pain. Then, once it's done, we pop the spark plug back into the engine. This is the spark plug, this is the Citroen tool, which has a ring on it, which ensures that the spark plug does not cross thread as you put it back in. It holds the tool square in the tube. Tighten it up by hand till it just nips, and then you're only just going to turn it a little bit more, like 1/8 of a turn more, and that should be sufficient torque. Add the insulator and then the HT lead. Now, I've unclipped the top part of the HT lead because it makes it easier to ensure that you actually get the HT lead end clipped onto the spark plug, which I'm now struggling with, because you can't actually see it, and you should feel it just click slightly like it did there. Then you can fit the top and clip the HT lead into the plastic. There we go. And repeat for the other 3.